Okay, Frank Luntz, you've been out there and you've got a focus group that you could be talking to or have already talked to in part. What did you think?
So we asked them when they were done. These were truly undecided voters between the candidates, and 16 of them felt that Hillary Clinton had won the debate, had brought them closer to her candidacy. Only 5 of them picked Donald Trump, and the remaining 6% were tied. There were 4 key components here. Number one is that Donald Trump, when he was attacking the system, he was doing well. When he was defending himself, that was a disaster. Number 2, Hillary Clinton was so well prepared for this. And I agree with what Maureen said. And I actually had written down the word baiting him within 3 minutes of the debate opening. And she did it again and again and again. And Trump responded horribly. Number 3, you don't speak over the moderator ever. And viewers are undecided, felt that he was, frankly, rude to Lester Holt. And number 4 is that Trump described the problems effectively, but he didn't have the solutions. She was not quite as effective in discussing the problems, but they felt that she had better answers. In the end, solutions beat problems. All right, I'll be right back, Frank and Maureen. Let's go now to Jeff Greenfield, who's in Santa Barbara, California. Jeff, you've seen a lot of these.
Yeah, not the Lincoln Douglas ones, but pretty much everyone after that. But if I hadn't seen the last 15 months of this campaign, I would have seen this as a clear and decisive victory for Secretary Clinton on a lot of grounds. Atmospherics, she controlled the room in the sense that she was the calm one. She seemed to enjoy in herself. She could laugh off Trump's attacks. And in fact, he was so baited and so eager impulsively to jump in that she was able to use the same line from her acceptance speech that, you know, if you can bait a man with a tweet, that's not somebody you want in the nuclear codes. But the reason that I'm hesitant is we have seen Donald Trump behave in ways almost literally from the moment he announced that under normal circumstances would have severely damaged, if not destroyed, his campaign. And so the question for me is, for instance, with all those interruptions, and they look pretty obnoxious, are the people who like Donald Trump because he goes in the face of those people, the media, the elitists, the government, will they take that as rudeness or will they take that as boldness? Yeah, I think on points she's the clear winner, but the question is, so what? We may be in an alternative universe.
His best argument in this election is change. I'm not like Washington. I can change Washington. Did he make that case, Jeff?
Not as well as I think he had in the past. There were a couple of lines where he, you know, you've been there 30 years. What have you done? You're an expert, but you've made the wrong decisions. Oddly enough, one of the more affecting moments, I think, was when he said about crime that, you know, who suffers the most of it? It's minorities, because on that answer, Clinton was kind of conventionally anodyne liberal. But the idea of him as the guy who can take the system and take it apart, I thought was less effective than he has been in other moments. But, you know, for his support, we've seen this over and over again. I'll be very blunt, they hear a Donald Trump that many others of us don't hear. And I'm not sure they would. I agree with Maureen. I don't think he turned off any of his supporters in this debate.
Did he add any new constituencies as part of the question, especially suburban women?
No. That's where I think that's where, again, if the laws of political gravity haven't been permanently suspended, everything from the, you know, I don't know how many women have dealt with people like this who won't let them finish a sentence. That's probably not the way into the hearts of suburban college-educated women. And I also think that, you know, his bragging about how clever he is at not paying contractors and avoiding taxes, if there's anything that possibly could erode some of his support among working-class men, white working-class men, it might be those answers. Right. But I'm dubious.
And she personalized it by talking about her father as well.
That was new for me. I thought the way she did that, you know, she said, I'm glad my father never had to deal with you. I thought that was one of the more original hits of the whole night.
I did, too. Mike Allen, what did you think?
Well, Charlie, I think we can agree the biggest lie of all, which all of our sources were telling us, is that Donald Trump didn't practice. He plainly did, and we saw it tonight, and we saw a fascinating congruence in the two strategies. We saw both Donald Trump and Secretary Clinton talking to their own people. forgetting the people in the middle, the undecideds. I think Frank has found the only undecided voters in captivity. And we saw Donald Trump. A friend said Donald Trump is talking to an old white guy in Michigan, and Hillary Clinton is talking to Twitter, and they both won. The Twitters loved Secretary Clinton tonight by far. They liked hating on Donald Trump, and a lot of what he said sort of teed up the taunts on Twitters. Whereas Donald Trump, for the audience that he needs, the audience that he has and wants to keep, wants to turn out. Jim Vandehei, who has a new Snapchat channel, We the People, he's writing on that Snap channel tomorrow. Donald Trump played the race and fear cards. It was deliberate, and for his constituency, it was effective.
When you look at the idea of adding new constituencies and appearing presidential, did Trump meet that standard?
No, I don't think so. I thought Hillary was very effective, and she had a interesting thing set up here where she knows that he is very sensitive when people say that, you know, he always says, I just got $1 million from my father, and then basically after that I was a self-made man who became a billionaire. And she knows he's very sensitive when he's painted as the spoiled little rich boy who got a lot more millions from his father. And so she made that case, and then she kind of presented her own father, who was a drapery maker, as the kind of person that Donald Trump stiffed. So she used her father effectively and got under his skin with his father.
What about the income tax issue?
What do you mean?
Well, in other words, defending the fact that he was not willing to make his income tax reports available. Income
because
tax,
he sort of
but then trying to make a deal with her about the emails to remind people that she destroyed the emails.
Yeah, I didn't think he did as well on the emails as he could have, just like he didn't do as well on the Iraq issue as he could have.
Now, is that because she carried the point by putting him on the defensive with all those baiting questions?
Yeah, he seemed, first of all, he seemed like he had a cold. Someone was saying if only Gay Talese were here to write a lead that said Donald Trump has a cold.
Jeff Greenfield will appreciate that.
Yeah, except the people in L.A. who suspected he was on coke, which he, you know, he's not a substance abuse person. But, yeah, so I think he wasn't feeling well, and he was sniffling and drinking water. And then, you know, he was succumbing in his gossamer and thin-skinned way to some of her baiting. And so he sort of admitted that he didn't pay taxes and bragged that the government would squander it anyway.
Frank, what else? Go ahead. Who's that? I can't. Somebody.
Yeah, Charlie. Yeah. This is Mike. The lead story on Politico.
By the way, Charlie, it's you are dead on about the income tax. It was absolutely the worst moment, and he came back to it. When he was given the chance to challenge Hillary on the emails, he didn't. And our focus group actually started to boo him. And understand, they're watching a TV that's about 20, maybe 15 feet away from them. And when they verbally react, booing, that tells you that there's something that's going on there. They argued that he was fighting too much to defend himself and not enough to defend him. Do you remember at the Republican convention when he said Hillary Clinton's slogan, I'm with her, and Trump turned it around and says, no, I'm with you, I'll be your voice, I'll be your representative? He lost that tonight, and that was a big loss for him.
He has no ability to take a punch. And that's just going to hurt him every time.
But that's what he prides himself on, being a counterpuncher.
Yes, but
he's awful.
Yeah. But it all devolves to his ego.